Hey everyone, it's Phil Key from Night Owl Films. Welcome, thanks for tuning in. So it's been the Oscar weekend. It's gone, been and gone, and Jamie Lee Curtis won a Best Supporting Actress for a completely non-horror related film. And cancel culture and all the worshippers have gone from obsessing over Jenny Ortega, who obviously is in the new Scream film and played Wednesday. It's gone from obsessing over her to obsessing over Jamie Lee Curtis for an Oscar she won that has nothing related to horror. And Jamie Lee Curtis obviously gave a speech, and in the speech it was basically saying that, this Oscars for, all the work I've done. It's like, it depends how you look at it, because people seem to be very quick to jump on the bandwagon just because something is said, and then, oh yeah, it's true, it's true, it's true. Now, I genuinely think that cancel culture and these worshippers are not ruining but trying to sabotage the horror genre to the extent that it's their way or no way. And a lot of people that say to me, they don't actually understand what on earth I'm talking about. So I thought I'll explain it here. It's partly down to narcissism as well. So Jenny Ortega, she's obviously in the new Scream films, and she played Wednesday. And then it's also been rumoured that apparently she is going to play Lydia's daughter in the new Beetlejuice too, if that happens. And it's gone from obsessing over her in Scream to obsessing over her in Wednesday to obsessing over her doing anything at all. And people come out with, oh, they don't need Nev Campbell anymore. It's all history. She's not needed anymore. And I thought to myself today, let's push the clocks forward 20 years. Somebody else will come on the scene, like Jenny and Nev did. They'll be obsessed over, they'll be worshipped. And what fans are trying to do now, cancel culture fans, I should say, they will be doing that in 20 years' time. They'll be saying, oh, we don't need Jenny anymore. We don't need this anymore. We don't need that anymore. We need this new person instead. Now, why is that happening? It's basically down to being a yes person. Yes, I will worship this person if I then feel validated for worshipping a famous person. I haven't bothered to watch the TV series Wednesday. I have no interest in it at all. And the reason is, it seems to be, unless Jenny is in it, it's no good. That's the way cancel culture works. Oh, it's got to have Jenny in it. And with Nev Campbell, her portfolio, it started well before the Scream franchise made her, obviously, the icon that she's become today, even though quite a few people will say, well, she's not an icon. She is an icon. And when you've built that portfolio up for yourself and someone new comes along and you are just thrown to the side, that is not taken lightly by a lot of people, including the genuine fans who have supported her through her entire career. And when Jenny came onto the scene, because obviously the row over the pay for Nev Campbell, it's been the case of, oh, well, we don't want Nev anymore now, bring Jenny in. When this type of thing happens, what they're trying to do is basically discredit and erase the opening of the franchise as if it never even happened. And by doing that, you're basically trying to kill off what has happened, so then you can start afresh with cancel culture's imagination and move forward with actors that no one has hardly ever heard of, storylines that are just recyclable, the terrible. But the moment you say this to these worshippers, or you're being negative, or you're a buzz killer, cancel culture does not like it when people don't agree with them. They are yes people. The film they are watching could be absolutely horrendous. Whether it's the storyline, poor quality, editing, acting, directing, whatever. It could be so horrendous, they will still praise it and try and make it normal that they are praising it. And when people like me speak up, oh, you're being negative, oh, you're being this, you're being that, it's like, well, no, it's called having a difference of opinion, which you are allowed to do. And there's probably people saying to me now, but you're putting them down. It's not about putting people down. If someone came up to me and said, yeah, I wasn't a fan of the first Scream film, but I didn't mind it, okay, cool, fair enough. With cancel culture, they do not debate like that. Or you're wrong, you're negative, or it's outdated, or you're old. They try very hard to disrespect and discredit and minimise how good the actual opening films were, to try and allow them to force their narrative down people's throats that, oh, the original films weren't that good. The new ones are better though, when they're not. And then we have the, as I said, with the Oscar speech. Because Jamie Lee Curtis reached out to the horror fans, obviously it must have meant a hell of a lot to her. I've never won an Oscar, obviously. Don't ever know if it will ever happen. Who knows? No one knows the future. And obviously it was a very heartwarming speech. However, when you actually watch the speech, it's like, Jamie Lee Curtis, you have been awarded that for your work in this film, not for Halloween. And as much as I enjoy her work in Halloween and other films she's made, it kind of, I was like, are you speaking to the fans, or are you speaking to a certain category of fans here, Jamie Lee Curtis? Because you haven't been given an Oscar for Halloween. You've been given an Oscar for a film that you have only just made recently that is not horror. And on social media, people have gone from worshipping, idolising Jenny Ortega to now doing it with Jamie Lee Curtis. But yet, a few months ago, oh, Halloween kills, Halloween ends, oh, it's naff, it's horrible, you know, why did they do that? And now because she's won an Oscar, all of a sudden, it's completely flipped. Oh, we love Jamie Lee Curtis. And when you actually stand back and look at the timeline that's in front of you, you start to see, you know what? People do just jump on the bandwagon and praise anything for the sake of being liked. And that is just fake, so fake. And the reason why I think that's going to be of a sabotage to horror films is because it's a pattern. Whenever a new actor or actress hits the popular demand mark, all of a sudden it's worship them, idolise them. Nothing negative can be said. Nothing disagreeing can be said. Oh, this person's so brilliant. And people develop such unhealthy obsessions with these famous people to the extent that I've read stories in the past where celebrities, famous people, have been stalked, kidnapped, etc., etc. You can probably guess half of it. I don't need to tell you. And when you read in these comments on social media, you think to yourself, you have got a screw loose. You have. You're talking as if this person is the only person in existence on the planet. And when you say this to these people, again, they go on the attack, or how dare you say this, how dare you say that. It's the truth. You are obsessing over famous people for the sake of being validated within yourselves. And cancel culture needs that to thrive, to live off. Whenever I comment on social media as to why I disagree with something, I always use very precise wording. And then when someone comes back to me and says, well, you're wrong about this or you're wrong about that, I said, well, what in your opinion says that I am wrong? And 9 times out of 10, they can't actually give an answer. They just attack you with cancel culture scripts, or you're being negative. And you think to yourself, well, no, it's not about being negative. It's just having a different of opinion. And it was the same with the Terrifier 2. Art. People went on and on and on and on and on and about art. And the reality is, you can only do so much with a mime. You can't do very much with a mime. as I said in the previous podcast, I watched The Terrifier 2, and when I watched it, I could not believe people were praising it as if it was Oscar worthy. And I'm thinking, people have got a screw loose. That is not Oscar worthy in the slightest. And that is what cancel culture enjoys doing. They beef it up, they make it as if it's pure gold. And it's actually dangerous for this simple reason. When you praise work that isn't of a high professional quality standard, you're trying to basically praise poor effort, in a sense, or maybe restricted budgets, which sometimes can't be helped, obviously. But what can be helped is when you are knowingly exaggerating praise for poor work. I don't do it. I don't agree with it. I don't condone it. I literally try and nip it in the bud. And when I've come across these posts and people's comments for Jenny, Jamie Lee, you think to yourself, it's so damn obvious what you're doing. You're praising them based on their own success to try and make yourselves feel validated for praising them. And it's just so cringy and embarrassing. And personally, whenever I watch a film, if I watch it and it's good, I'll praise it. If it's not good, I'll give commentary on it or I'll give feedback. I'm not one of these people though where if I see something and it's terrible, oh well, let's just find that one little thing to brag about within it to get as many people watching it as possible, even though I know it's rubbish. Well, that's what cancel culture enjoys doing. And now they're making another Scream film. I have stopped watching them because, quite frankly, without Nev Campbell, it's just nothing to me. It's just being milked for money. But of course, people being in the S crowd want that. They want just any garbage given to them and they'll pay for it. And what does that do? Fans like myself and other fans out there who want to actually have Nev Campbell remain because she was the leading character and the leading story, the backstory from day one, it sort of knocks it off track for us because then when we're waiting for more good films to come out of good quality, oh no, we're not doing them anymore. Cancel culture want all this. And it's like, if you were to rewind, that's 20 years ago, there wouldn't be any of this. And there wasn't any of this. Yeah, you could write fan letters and that. Would they listen to you? The filmmakers in the studios? Who knows? But now because of social media being around, it's all listen to the comments, read the comments, have a bit of input from them. But when cancel culture want their say, people like myself don't get a say. And that is why I strongly believe that down the line, cancel culture and worshippers are going to sabotage horror films unless people start speaking up and saying, you know what, nah, Jenny Ortega is not the only actress in the world that can do horror. She's not. Has she won an Oscar? No. Has Nev ever won an Oscar? No. But has Nev had a long career? Yes. Has Jenny had a long career? No. It's starting out, it's building, she's building it. And when you see people discrediting actors that have been around for decades because of a newbie that everyone's worshipping, it's just so insanely crazy that you can't even think, why would you be so obsessed with one person that you can't see there is plenty of other people out there? And whenever I obviously speak to people and I say these things, because they know it makes logical sense, they don't like it because they want to stay in their fantasy world and think, oh no, I don't care about what you think. I don't care that Nev was in the first few Scream films. I've got a new person in my life now. And you think to yourself, you don't know these people. They are actors. And the moment again you say that, ooh, it hits the roof. And on that note, thank you again everyone for tuning in. Take it easy. Over and out.